Yeah, so a lot of people think you need to have 20% saved up. Is that true?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No.
Emily, first-time home buyers, what would you suggest the first thing they do is?
The first thing I would suggest first-time homebuyers do is probably just check your credit score. Get an idea of where your credit's at, because that's really a baseline of how your mortgage is going to go and everything else with the home buying process.
Yeah, and by knowing your credit score, if you have any challenges around credit, you can start to game plan for those. What would you say the second thing to do is?
I would say probably start thinking about saving for a down payment. You're going to need to do some kind of contribution no matter what your loan is, unless of course you're going the VA route. Most of the time you do need to have something saved up, so that's good to just keep in mind, budget for that.
Yeah, so a lot of people think you need to have 20% saved up. Is that true?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No.
And there's actually down payment assistance programs also. So that kind of leads us into what we think the third thing somebody should do is, and what is that?
I would say start looking into getting pre-approved.
Right. So number 3, get with a lender, right? Because then you can understand what your credit situation is. You can also start to calculate how much you can afford based on your debt to income ratio, right? So getting with a lender is critically important. So now you understand, Emily, you can afford $1 million as a first-time home buyer. Congratulations, it's like HGTV, right? So you can afford $1 million, and then what would you suggest the next thing they do is?
I would probably say the next step would be to start looking around for who you're going to work with as your real estate agent. That's another very important piece.
Yeah, check out our video on questions to ask your realtor, right? So that way you can go through and really vet out who you're going to work with, because it matters. It really does matter, right? And then what would you say the next thing to do is?
Start thinking about finding a home and probably where you want to live. I think this is definitely kind of where driving around neighborhoods ties in. You start to think about where you want to live, school districts, all that kind of stuff that's very important to you.
Yeah, and I would drive it during rush hour, right? From your work to whatever location, right? So you can understand what that's going to look like. Drive it at night, because what things look like in the day and what they look like in the night can be different things, right? So, and then drive around the neighborhoods to make sure that the things that you want to be a part of are local to where you're at. Sometimes what you don't want to do is show up for the first time and be like, well, I guess I never wanted to live here because I don't like it. Why'd you waste the time looking through all those houses and the rest of it, right? So between getting with a good realtor, getting with a good lender, and driving your neighborhoods to really understand what you're looking at, those are all great things to start with a first-time home buyer. Go ahead and reach out. We'd love to chat with you. Thank you.